What's up, everybody? Listen, are you tired of trying to figure out how to raise your credit score without paying thousands of dollars to a credit repair agent? Well, listen, I'm going to give you the tips and tricks that I use to raise my score over 200 points. Stay tuned. What's up, everyone? It's Terry on Demand. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're coming to you once again with the hottest information that you want to know about. Let's do some housekeeping. Why don't you go ahead and click like, click subscribe, go ahead and share this video because, honey, this tea is piping hot, and I'm going to teach you all of the things that I did to raise my score over 200 plus points. Now, some of you know, some of you may not know, but I was once certified as a credit repair agent several years back. I've worked in the credit repair field for quite some time as an entrepreneur. So trust me, what I'm sharing with you is legit. Okay, so just to give you a little backdrop about me, when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I ended up going through divorce. Fast forward, after that, I had to file bankruptcy after we went through the divorce. And before the bankruptcy, my credit score was in the high 700s. After the bankruptcy, child, my credit score went to a 485. 485. And so I was devastated because to go from 7 and having great credit to 485, it was devastating. So what I did was I started to research how to increase my score. And so some of the tips and tricks that I'm going to share, I'm just going to jump right in and we're going to get right to it. The first thing I did was pull my credit report. Now you want to make sure that you pull your Experian credit report because it's going to give you your FICO score. Now it's okay if you like to use things like Credit Sesame or Credit Karma to get your score. But you want to make sure you go through a place like Experian because they're going to give you your FICO score. Credit Karma gives you your Vantage score. And those are two different scoring systems. So what you're going to see is that Vantage is going to have one number, and then your Experian FICO score is probably going to have a completely different number, which is fine. But most lenders use FICO. So that's why I'm telling you to pay attention to your FICO score. The next thing you want to do after you pull your credit report is to take a look at your credit report to see what's on there. Do you have any inaccuracies? Meaning, do you have anything that's not yours? Do you have any accounts that do not belong to you? Do you have any collections? Do you have any late payments? You want to take a look at everything that's on your credit report so that you can make the proper analysis of what you need to do next. Once you've done your assessment and you've pulled your credit report, the steps that I'm getting ready to tell you is going to make your credit score soar. So make sure you stay to the end so that you can get all the tips and tricks. So after you've pulled it, you want to make sure you dispute anything that's on your credit report that's inaccurate or is not yours. Anything that is inaccurate or is not yours, you can dispute it. So what do I mean by that? You would go ahead and simply write a letter to the credit bureau. You can even dispute online, in which I don't recommend disputing online. I recommend literally writing a letter and saying, this is not my debt. You have a certain amount of time to prove that this is my debt. So you dispute it. Very simple. What happens is the credit bureaus will do their own investigation, and they have only 30 days to do that. They have 30 days to investigate to see what's inaccurate, what's not right, what's wrong. Even if your name is spelled wrong, they have 30 days to do that. And within those 30 days, let's say they don't get a chance to even get to your file. If they can't even get to your file, they have to delete that information, even if they didn't get to your file, okay? Because by law, they only have 30 days to do that investigation. And what will happen is they'll send you a letter back stating whether they removed that debt, whether they updated it, whether they corrected it, or anything like that. They will give you an update. Now let's talk about a big deal when it comes to your credit. Once again, your payment history matters. How you pay. Are you paying on time? The more and more that you pay on time, the better your credit will be. Payment history accounts for 35% of your credit score. So you want to make sure that once you're trying to rebuild, that you are paying your bills on time. Another tip that I did is I did not apply for any new credit, because when you apply, your credit score takes a 2 to 3 point deduction for inquiries. Now, there's certain types of inquiries. You have hard pulls and you have soft pulls. Soft pulls do not account against your credit score, because that's similar to like you pulling your own credit report, or if you're applying for a job and they're pulling your credit history to take a look at your credit report. That does not count against you. That's called a soft pull. When I speak about hard pulls, I'm talking about a pull when you're looking to get a credit card or some type of loan. That's considered a hard pull. So you want to make sure that when you're rebuilding your credit, that you're not just out here just applying for credit cards and applying for loans that you really don't need, okay? Because your score is going to drop 2 to 3 points because of those inquiries. And inquiries account for about 10% of your credit score. And not only that, they stay on your report for 2 years. Another tip and trick that you can use is called piggybacking. Now, piggybacking has another name that you may be more familiar with, which is being an authorized user on someone's account. Now, when you're an authorized user or you piggyback on someone else, that simply means that a person with good credit simply adds you to their credit card. It does not affect the person who's adding you to their credit card. You adopt their good credit history. Okay, so with piggybacking, you simply have someone that you know that has great credit. You want to make sure that they have great credit, because you don't want to adopt their history and then they have late payments. That defeats the purpose. So piggybacking is another great way that you can increase your score, because all of the good payment history on that credit card from that person will transfer over to your credit report. Now, I know what you're thinking. Will my bad credit history transfer over to them? No. You will only receive their good payment history. They will not receive any of your bad credit history. You just want to make sure that that person is not above their 30% utilization rate, because your utilization matters. And we're going to jump right into that as well. Now, some of these tips and tricks I honestly did not know until I started researching. I didn't realize that your payment history accounted for 35% of your credit score. So once again, you want to make sure that you pay on time. It, out of the whole chunk, that has the biggest percentage that weighs in on your credit score. Another thing that I use is making sure that I kept my utilization down. Guys, utilization accounts for 30% of your credit score. Now, what is utilization? Very simply put, it's how much you use on your credit lines. So for instance, let's say you have $1,000 credit card. Well, 30% of that $1,000 credit card is $300. That credit limit is $300. So you want to make sure that you don't go over $300 within your spending budget, because that would take you past your utilization. And for some of you who are wondering how to calculate your utilization, you simply take the amount of your credit limit and multiply it by 30%, and that will give you your credit utilization rate. Once you get that number and you understand what that number is, you want to stay below that number. I recommend staying below 10%, but you definitely want to make sure that you don't cross that 30%. And I am sure that once you lower the utilization on your credit cards, you'll see an increase in your score. Lastly, another strategy that can be used is a pay to delete letter, meaning you simply write a letter asking your creditors if they would be willing to delete the negative history if you settle that debt. A lot of times they will negotiate with you and they will agree to a certain amount that you can pay to settle that debt. You can simply send a letter and say, if I pay XYZ, or you can even give them a call and ask them if they are willing to delete that debt from your credit account if you pay whatever arrangement that you've agreed to. With all of these tips and tricks, I'm sure that your credit score will soar. Thank you so much for tuning in to Terry On Demand, where we drop the hottest information that you want to know about. Don't forget to smash that like button, click subscribe, and go ahead and share this video with someone who you know will benefit from this information. And guess what? I've got some great information. Go ahead and check out the description section where I will have my ebook for you, The A to Z on Credit. And listen, I'm giving it away today for $8.97. Yes, so click the link below and you'll be able to buy that ebook today, and you get all the tips and tricks on how to repair your own credit without paying thousands of dollars.